And in this way, the Khiljis also ended. And then came the Tughlaq Dynasty, which is the third dynasty to rule this sultanate. So the first ruler of this dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who ruled from 1320 to 1325 CE. His real name was Ghazi Malik, and he changed his name on becoming a ruler to Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He rose from an ordinary position of governor of a frontier province to becoming the Sultan himself. He was a great warrior and an able administrator, and consolidated the scattered sultanate, and he restored the peace and order in the sultanate back. He was a kind ruler, and he withdrew some of the taxes imposed on peasants to improve their condition. However, he died in an accident where a pandal set up for his welcome fell on him. As a result of conspiracy hatched by his son Juna Khan for early occupation of his throne. And the next ruler was Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who ruled from 1325 to 1351 CE. His real name was Juna Khan, and he swore the title of Muhammad bin Tughlaq on becoming the Sultan. He was a learned scholar and opposed the interference of ulemas in the matters of the state. He took many steps to consolidate the Sultanate, and he is also known as the wise fool. Why? We are going to see that in the later part of this chapter. So he was a mixture of opposites. He was a great scholar but lacked common sense. He was harsh as well as liberal. Now let's have a look that why is he called a wise fool. So basically he did three ideas or three projects, and all of them failed. The ideas were good, but their implementations were bad. Now let's look at all the three projects one by one. So the first project was to transfer the capital from Delhi to Devgiri or Daulatabad. Why? To avoid the fiery attack of Mongols and control the whole Sultanate better. So Delhi was over here and Daulatabad was over here, as you can see on the map. So they are 950 kilometers away from each other. So many people died on the way to Devgiri because he forced all the people to Delhi to travel along with them. And there was an absence of transport facilities. It caused many hardships and havoc. Many people died, and his absence from the north encouraged the attack of Mongols instead of avoiding them. So after 5 years, he again ordered for the shift of capital from Devgiri back to Delhi, which caused even greater hardships, even more havoc, because again many people were died on the way, and many other things were also suffering. And now let's have a look at this second project. So to increase his military power and uh, because of the to cover the loss of his previous project, he decided to impose land tax of people who lived near the Doab region. So what is the Doab region? It is the region that was near the Ganga, so that he can cover the loss of his previous projects. Doab region is the region that is near to the river Ganga and has a great soil for farming. So he increased the land tax to 50% of the produce. By chance, the peasants had recently suffered from famine, and they were stunned by the order. Many farmers too gave up cultivation and let their land barren. This project also ended in an utter failure because he realized that uh, this is not good and people there are leaving farming. So he when he realized, he not only withdrew the taxes but he also needed to extend help to the farmers to resume cultivation again. So here also what happened that uh, instead of gaining more money, he had to spend more. And the last project was he thought of was to change the copper was to change the silver coins into copper coins so that the coins cost less. But again, the idea failed because the new coins were easy to be regenerated by the general public. And due to increased circulation of those counterfeit coins that were generated by the general public, again he had to withdraw his orders and ask the people to exchange their coins with silver coins. And this made a big hole in the royal treasury. And in this way, these were the three projects after which his rule ended. And then came the next ruler, Firoz Tughlaq. He was the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and he appointed the policy of appeasing the nobles, the ulemas, and the orthodox Muslims to strengthen his position. He imposed jizya on Hindus and granted land and high civil and military official positions to the ulemas. What is jizya? Jizya is a special type of tax that is imposed only on Hindus. He was a staunch Sunni Muslim by faith and considered himself as a servant of God. Unlike Alauddin Muhammad and Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he didn't separate religion from administration. But he also did many good works. Let's have an eye on them. So he made many reforms to address the grievances that people had against Muhammad Tughlaq. He constructed many canals and tanks, and the old tanks were repaired. The land revenue was reduced, and the markets were opened to sell the surplus products. Now, coins of smaller denominations were also introduced. He opened schools and gave grants to scholars to promote educational activities in his country. He helped the poor Muslims financially and led over 1200 fruit gardens around Delhi. He also found new cities like Hisar, Jaunpur, Firozabad, Firozpur, etc. and got Sanskrit texts translated into Persian. Then came the next ruler of this dynasty, or the last ruler of this dynasty was Nasiruddin Tughlaq. He ruled from 1388 to 1412 CE. During his reign, Timur Lang invaded India and took away a large amount of wealth, took many Indian artisans with him for decorating his capital at Samarkand. And in this way, Nasiruddin was uh, his rule was ended because all the wealth was taken away by Timur Lang. And the Sultanate lasted up to only 1412 CE after Timur's invasion till Nasiruddin died. And later, the Sultanate got divided into many small kingdoms. Daulat Khan, an Amir, was appointed as the
So
ruler.
I hope that you have learnt well about the Tughlaq dynasty. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos of this chapter.